Chapter 6. A New Ma. Every year in town at the end of the school year they had a festival for 5 days. Fun, food, friends, and family all in 5 days. Old wives' tales said if your palm itches, you will get money. If your eye twitches, you will see someone you have not seen in a long time. If you hit your elbow, you are going to travel. All these things should happen if you're going to the festival. Many activities were available during this time. You could bet on real live rat races, crab legs for cheap, take a spin on the many carnival rides. Trappers could sell their pelts that they worked so hard to get ready for this gathering. Many fine pelts of fox, seal, and weasels were available for purchase. Every day they had different activities for children. The one I looked forward to the most was the sawdust pile with hundreds of dollars of real silver dollars in it. There were many sideshows and contests for all ages. Activities for the adults to enter were foot races, arm wrestling contests, and the most watched event was the survival suit race. So every year you could afford to go, you went. This one year after we moved to the new site, I felt like it was important to go to the festival. I was told, no, we didn't have the money to go. Bummed. I begged and bugged for a week before the start of the festival. Every day I would plead to go to town. I was going if I had to walk, I told Dad. A day before it was time to go on the plane, my dad said he got the money to go, but we did not care, but we were going. Woohoo! Okay, we calmed down to hear but. We had to camp at the beach because the hotels were filled up. Still did not care. We were going. When we got to town, we checked the hotel and they had a room. Yes. We had a great first day and were exhausted. And we woke up the next morning, our whole world had changed. A woman was in bed with my dad and she was giggling and laughing, saying that she did not know my dad had kids. She was a beautiful Filipino woman. Shocked and amazed, we just stared. Betty. The festival we were so excited for was a blur after we met Betty. Betty was a beautiful, colorful, happy-looking woman. My dad was taken by this woman and she came back to the village with us. My mom, Selma, had died of a heart attack when I was about 2 years old. Dad was still in college and had 4 kids to watch suddenly. We were split up at this point. My brother Henry and I stayed with my dad's family. My older sister Holly, with my younger brother Victor, were given to my mom's side of the family. We still lived in the same village, but we were in 2 different worlds. First thing I remember when we returned from the festival was Betty's cooking. My dad over the years had cooked for us, but most meals were at my grandma's. My grandma used only so many spices, and in the village there is no store. Most of the time the food was bland. I'm not complaining. I like it that way. The real flavor of the meat comes out. Betty put stuff like garlic, basil leaves, peppercorns, and vinegar in the food she cooked. Oh yeah, who could forget the soy sauce? Betty had got all the ingredients for egg rolls, hamburger ones. She prepped the ingredients and then had us help her roll egg rolls for dinner and the rest of the week. Fun. A new ma, new food, and only we could understand her. Betty talked real fast. We had to train our ears to listen faster. A month went by and we could translate to others what she had just said. We thought it was so strange that someone could talk straight English and we couldn't understand her. So much fun. Accent in her way of pointing with her lips, a nod in one direction and say over there. She would say, oi, to get your attention, then point with her lips. So funny. We totally accepted Betty into our lives. I am sure at one point we didn't let her into our worlds because she was new. My dad and Betty went to town to buy stuff for her to live in the village and groceries. When they came back with Betty, had surprises for us. We were kids and kids must behave and act up towards their parents. This one time after they came back from town, Betty had a plan. Smart woman, very smart, impressive. When she noticed we were not into having a new ma and all, she whipped out this dartboard and gathered my brother Henry and I together. She stated that kids our age had already mastered small weapons for protection and hunting. Weapons. Weapons was all we heard. Oh yeah, let's see it. Betty had gotten throwing stars, nunchucks, and a dartboard. She demonstrated for us, and wow, Betty was a star throwing, nunchuck swinging, crazy cooking mama. Wow, my dad had come home that day to holes in the walls, elbows bruised, and wild-eyed kids. We were ninjas, no doubt. Betty wanted Halbert one day. Dad set it up the next nice day for Uncle Charles to take us jigging. We were out there for about an hour, nothing. Then I got a tug. I was excited. I got it to the side. Uncle Charles could see it before us. I asked what it was. He just laughed and said, "Just pull it over the side." So I yanked the line, and this huge, ugly, red, pokey, round fish flew at Betty and I. Crazy. We were hollering as it flew over us, and it dropped to the bottom of the skiff. Red snapper, Uncle Charles said.